What's up, Met fans? Welcome back. Talking Mets here, Rob. Live right now. Breaking news, guys. If you haven't heard, the Mets got the guy, Max Scherzer, 3 years, reportedly $130 million. Obviously, there was speculation that it was 3 years for 123, so the Mets had to go a little bit more to get him to wear the orange and blue. So all that nonsense about going to the staying in the West Coast is bull, guys. The Mets got their guy. They got their 1A behind Jacob deGrom. That's exactly what this team needed, guys. I'm excited. This is perfect. It was going to be a watch party, but now it's breaking news, guys. Mets, Scherzer, 3 years, $130 million. A lot of money, but well worth it. I think the Mets had to do everything they can, and it showed you that they did. It did not matter what they had to do to get Scherzer. They wanted him. They focused in on him, and they got him. A little over $43 million per year. But let's be honest, guys, this guy stays healthy. He is one of the top 7 or 8 pitchers in the game, and he is part of a rotation that has Jacob deGrom. Oh, baby. We are here. We are live. We got the breaking news that was just reported a few minutes ago all over social media on Twitter. Max Scherzer and the Mets, 130, 3-year deal, minor details to go only. So it's basically done. Probably a little bit of a breakdown of how much he's going to get per year or all the other little things that go into it. Everybody who doubted the Mets, this is a new time for the New York Mets. In years past, there is no way the Mets even come close of getting this deal. If it was Sandy Alderson running things, he would have probably got fed up and just left. But Billy Epler is making his decision and did what he had to do. He had to focus in, work hard on Boris and a guy in Scherzer who wanted to stay on the West Coast, and he did it, guys. So big ups to Epler. They worked hard. Apparently, Epler and Cohen worked hard on this. It's exactly what we needed, guys. I'm excited. Now the Mets can focus on the next day and a half until the possible lockout on December 2nd to work on getting another position player, as in Baez or Bryant, but it could be Baez, but we got him, guys. So say what's up in the comments, guys. Are you excited or are you a little worried about the money and the years? I'm not. I think he's going to be fine. You know, if we can get him to pitch like Verlander did with the Astros at the age of 37, 38, 39, let's go, baby, because I'm excited. Oh, baby, this is great. So we're going to be with you guys for at least an hour. Have some fun, talk about what the Mets can do next. But there is no doubt the Mets put themselves on the map with this signing, guys. It's a lot of money. But let's be honest, guys. The Mets were willing to give Bauer around the same money last year for 2 years. But we got a guy who is a bulldog on the mound, who is going to be, he is basically an ace if Jacob deGrom wasn't there. But now we got 2 aces. And now we can work on what are the Mets going to do next, right? Are they going to go after another low-end starter, or are they still going to go after Stroman? Are they still going to go after Robbie Ray? But you got to remember, guys, with Robbie Ray, he has that qualifying offer that was given to from the Jays, so the draft pick is attached to him. But this is great news for the Mets. Within, 4 days, 3 days, really, the New York Mets signed 4 guys to their team. We got Marte. We got Kana. We got Escobar. And now the big fish, Max Scherzer, guys. 130 for 3 years is well worth it, my man. Hell yeah. Let's go, baby. Enjoy it. Let's have some fun. I'm very, very happy about this. I was checking Twitter. Met fans are going nuts right now. Here we go. Breaking news. It's absolutely official now. It's MLB notifications. You got Yahoo Sports. You got ESPN. Everywhere you got, it's official, guys. This ain't no Mark Feinsand tweet saying that we got Bauer and he ends up at the Dodgers. We got him, guys. deGrom, Scherzer, Walker, Carrasco, McGill. Very, very solid. We got a 1-2 that we really, really needed, guys. But the better news is that the Mets are not done. It's obvious the Mets are willing to send money or spend a lot of money, guys. We are over the luxury tax threshold now, no matter what it is going forward. But the Mets are over the luxury tax now easily because they were at around, I think, a little over 185 million. With this, it puts them well over 200 million with this deal right here. Like I said, Cohen talked about if he's going to go over, he's going to go over a lot. He's not going to go over a few $1,000,000. So this is exactly what we've been looking for, guys. So once again, guys, please hit on that like button. Hit on that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We're going to get the stream out to more people. The more people that flow in, the more fun it's going to be. There's a lot of people that didn't think he was going to come. They thought he was using the Mets as leverage. And it's possible he still was. But the reports were 3 years, 123, not even about an hour ago. Clearly, Scherzer was like, listen, get it to 130 and I'm signing. So there we go, right? We got it. We're in. This is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted, guys. Cohen is spending his hard-earned billion-dollar money on this team. And look, it's obvious what the Mets are doing here. They're putting together a win-now team. So I had somebody in the comments a few minutes ago saying, because I talked about the Luis Castillo trade and all that stuff. And obviously I put Ronnie Mauricio in that trade. And he was like, I'm not giving up Ronnie Mauricio. Again, if you're going to sign Bryant or Baez, I see Frank just wrote something about we need Bryant and Baez. I don't think we need both of them. One of them I think is fine. I'd rather have Bryant over Baez, but Mauricio has nowhere to play over the next 2 to 3 years. You get Baez, now you really don't have nowhere to play. Use him in a trade piece. You want to keep Beatty around? I can understand that. Alvarez is untouchable, and Beatty is untouchable. Everybody else in our top 10 can be used in a trade package to bring in a Luis Castillo. Imagine Luis Castillo coming in this rotation. You got DeGrom, you got Scherzer, you got Castillo, and now you can work around Cookie Carrasco and Taijuan Walker and have Tyler McGill as a long man out of the bullpen or a possible sixth starter that can fill in if there's an injury or something like that. So not only did the Mets get one of the top pitchers on the market, they got an ace who was a bulldog, and that's exactly what the Mets needed. I'm going to look at the comments really quick, guys. Frank says, like I was saying, they need Bryant and Baez. They don't need both. I think one of them is perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm not going to get mad if the Mets go after Baez, but I want Bryant. And he also says, take a shot at the Japanese outfielder. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets pull that, go into that mode when it comes to the Japanese outfielder, Seiya Suzuki. So we'll see, right? But again, the more important thing is the Mets made the move that was basically thought to be impossible, right? Nobody actually thought that. They didn't think that he was going to leave the West Coast and come to New York, but I don't know how they got it done. Clearly, the Mets had to spend probably more than the Angels or the Dodgers or Seattle or whoever else was involved. But there's one thing that I have to tell you guys. Max Scherzer is a union rep. There is no way being a union rep that you can turn down the most money from a team. So what he was probably trying to do was go back to the Dodgers or the Angels and saying, if you match this deal, I'm going to go to the Angels. I'm going to go to you guys. So he probably took it back to the Dodgers and Angels, and the Dodgers and Angels weren't willing to go that high. And as a union rep, he is not going to take less money. So the Mets have the money. The Mets were willing to do it, and they did it. Money changes everything on this team. And when you have an owner that is actively involved in talks, I don't know if this was 100% a Billy Epper move more than it was a Steve Cohen, I want him, do everything you have to do to get him. Because it was clear with all the reports, Cohen and Epler were in these discussions. So clearly, Cohen wanted Scherzer, and he got his man. And that's all you can ask for, right? 3 years. If you're just tuning in, guys, please hit on that like button and hit on that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Frank's Room, what's up? So, breaking news, guys. It just popped up all over Twitter. All the reports are saying Max Scherzer signs 3 years, $130 million, which comes out to be $43 million, a little more than $43 million. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Frank's Room just said in a comment, do we need Stroman to complete our pitching? I don't think we need Stroman, but let's be honest. If the Mets are willing to spend a little more money on big time pitching or at least solid pitching, maybe they will go after Stroman. Maybe, but I'm not giving him more than probably $100 million. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. So, like I said, I'd rather go the trade route and figure out if we can get Castillo. I think that's a better option. Can the Mets bring in somebody that's a back of the rotation type of guy? We have to wait and see. But again, guys, we got until Wednesday at midnight until everything breaks down and everything freezes. Everything comes to a stop. But, baby, Max Scherzer, who killed the Mets for years with the Nationals, threw a no-hitter against the Mets, is finally a Met, is going to wear the orange and blue, going to tip his cap on opening day to the Met fans who booed him all hell all these years, but we got him, guys. Don saying, is this a bad deal? No. Look, we killed the Mets for years and years and years. When they wanted somebody, they never went all out to get somebody. And Don, I don't know if you were just in when I said this, but it's clear what the Mets are doing here. The Mets are building a win now team, a team where they're trying to build a winner in 2 to 3 years. Because as I've been saying since I started this channel, guys, you can't keep on wasting years of Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom's going to be 34 years old. There comes a point in time when you have to bear down, get the pieces you need in here around deGrom, around Alonso, and get things going right now. Like I said, we got all the veterans. We got Marte, we got Escobar, we got Kana. Now we got Scherzer. They're not bringing in 24-year-olds, 23-year-olds, or 25-year-olds. They're not doing that. They're getting a solid professional team that is a veteran team with no nonsense guys. That's the other reason why I don't think they're going to go after Stroman. I think they want to change the culture of this team. They don't want Stroman with the head case that he can be. Even though he was very good for us last year, he still couldn't put the team on his back and guide him into the playoffs. Right? When deGrom went down, he was the man that had to step up. He pitched well, but let's be honest, we're not looking for an ace to go 5 1/3. And he went he pitched a lot of good games, but when you pitch 5 1/3, maybe 6 innings every now and then, it's not exactly what you need to carry a team. Now, what you have here with Scherzer and deGrom, if deGrom goes down, boom, okay, fine. We got Scherzer to hold the fort, and still have that ace to keep on rounding out the rotation. This is what the Mets needed to do. They needed a 1A behind deGrom, and they did it. And they wanted Scherzer. They focused in on him, and they got him, guys. And you can't complain about that when so many years the Mets needed a certain player at a position or somebody in the rotation, and they would fall short of getting them. This is different. This is why it's not a bad deal. Now, of course, anybody you give a big deal to, they can fall on their face and the contract can be a disaster. But at this moment, you can't say it's a bad deal until you actually see all the news, all the years that he pitches. He got 3 years here, 37 years old. We've seen what guys like Verlander can do. There's guys 36, 37, 38 years old that are winning Cy Youngs. And Scherzer is still that guy that if he's healthy, and he had a little bit of an arm fatigue in the playoffs with the Dodgers, but he pitched well when the Dodgers got him. And I don't see a complete meltdown in Scherzer's performance. Has he lost a little miles per hour? He used to throw 97, 98. Maybe he's throwing 96, 97. That's more than enough to get it done. He knows how to pitch. He's precise. He will give you 100 pitches every game, and he will go deep into games. That's another thing, too. He's an innings eater, and that's what the Mets need. The Mets don't have that in their rotation. Let's be honest. How many times did Jacob deGrom go 6 innings before he got hurt? The same thing with Taijuan Walker. The same thing with Stroman. It was rare Stroman went 7+ innings. He did that, twice, maybe 3 times? You give money to guys who can go that extra mile. Scherzer can go that extra mile, guys. That's exactly what it is. Let's see. Frank says, honestly, Stroman may have worked his way out of New York altogether by tweet. Exactly. I agree with that. And like I said, Stroman always throws up the race card when it comes to a situation like that. Let's be honest. He can't bring that up when the Mets signed Starlin Marte, who is a Dominican player. Escobar is a Venezuelan player. You can't say that. It just doesn't make sense. They brought in Francisco Lindor, who's Puerto Rican. All right, he's an American, but he's a Puerto Rican for $300 million. They brought in Baez, who is also Puerto Rican. So it's like, you can't do that. The Mets were behind them. All the minority players on this team, when the whole thing went down with the whole George Floyd and the social injustice stuff, the Mets were behind their players. So I don't want to hear none of that. Here's the factor. Stroman's mad because he wants a New York team involved because that's going to raise his price. When the New York team is not involved in his bidding, it's not going to be as high as we think. And that's why he's mad. He's not mad because, he feels disrespected. He knows if a New York team is not involved in trying to sign him, the bidding war is not going to be as high as he expects it to be. Remember, he's talking like he's an ace of staff. There is nobody that's going to pay him ace money and say you're going to sign him and say you're the ace of the staff. He's not that type of pitcher. Exactly. This is 100%. And you see what the Mets are doing, especially what Frank Schroom just said, right? They lack the leader. Sometimes when there's not a leader in the clubhouse, player-wise, you'll have a manager be that leader. Rojas basically let them run the asylum, basically. And look what happened. It divided the team. There was cliques of teams that were a problem, right? They also had a fight with Lindor and McNeil, which early on in the season already broke this team apart, and it turned out to be a disaster. The Mets are getting high chemistry guys who are no-nonsense guys, go out there every day and play. Right away, Escobar is one of the favorites in the clubhouse, no matter where he went. Marte is another high-character guy. Kana is a high-character guy. Scherzer, he can get into your face, but he is also a guy who goes out there every day, pitches, and when he does open his mouth, he backs it up. Jacob deGrom just shows his work, and that's how he uses it to show people I do my job, and people can see that. Scherzer will open his mouth, but he always backs it up. But it's about time. The Mets wanted somebody, spent a little more than probably they needed to, but they made sure they got their guy, and they got him. Andre says, love this move. Are they going to address more depth pitching? Probably. Like I said, I think they're going to probably pivot now towards a position player, specifically infield, Brian or Baez. Again, I'm still iffy about Baez, but I think the Mets have a limit where they want to go with Baez, and I don't think they're going to surpass that. Because if you're going to surpass that for Baez, you might as well just do all you can to get Brian. Put Brian at third base, Escobar at second, and now your infield is solidified, and you have your Marte in center, you got Nimmo in right. You can have Connor or Dominic Smith in left, depending on what else the Mets do trade-wise, because 100%, guys, of the three, J.D. Davis, Dominic Smith, and Jeff McNeil, there's a pretty good chance that two of them are going to be gone, most likely. So we'll just have to see. I don't know if the Mets, like I said, the Mets might just go to Stroman and be like, listen, this is what we're going to give you. You are not our number one pitcher. You're not even our number two pitcher. At best, you're going to be a number 3. You're going to get paid like a number 3. $100 million for 5 years, that's $25 million per. If Stroman doesn't take that, he's nuts. If somebody else wants to give him more, let him leave, because I'm not giving him more than that. Nelson agreed. The manager, like I said, I don't think the Mets are going to rush into this management for sure. But the interesting thing is, we do need relief pitching. Taylor Rogers of the Twins is an interesting candidate. The Mets have to trade for him. But you got to remember, as much as people got sour on Jeurys Familia, you got to replace him. You got to replace Loop, who had an under 1 ERA. That's not easy to replace. And I do think they need at least one more arm in his bullpen who is a solid arm. Maybe that's Rondon, maybe that's Stroman, maybe that is somebody else that we're not really thinking about at the moment, who is on the lower end on the free agent market. That's a 4 or 5 starter. But it's something that we have to look at, Nelson, for sure. I know, Frankie. Yeah, listen, buddy. Like, we talked about this the other day when we both talked to each other on Instagram about Diaz. I don't think Diaz is going anywhere, unfortunately. We both would want Diaz to be gone, but it's going to be hard to replace somebody who is actually a young arm and an arm that's available. You get rid of Diaz, now you got to fill 3 spots. You got to fill the closer's role, you got to fill Loop, and you got to fill Familia, among other things. We had a Reed Foley, who is probably going to be healthy and be in this bullpen, but we do have to see. Exactly, Frank's room. Exactly. DeGrom lets his pitching do the talking. He doesn't speak up like that. He is a leader in the clubhouse, but he's not that vocal leader. And remember, when the Mets were having all these clubhouse issues, DeGrom basically was injured. He wasn't pitching. So, I mean, what was he going to say? At least in this situation, Scherzer has a big mouth. But when he has to use it, he'll use it. But he backs it up with the pitching. So, and listen, finally, the Mets are starting to realize that you can't always rely on your prospects and not using your prospects to make trades and bringing in veteran guys that shows that the Mets are win now. And that's exactly what I've been talking about. You can't keep on relying on, let's wait for Mauricio. Let's wait for Beatty. Let's wait for Allen. Let's wait for Mauricio, Alvarez. I don't want to wait that long, because when we wait for all those guys to come up, Jacob DeGrom is going to be 38, 39 years old. Who knows what he's going to be as a pitcher, right? The Mets wasted enough years of Jacob DeGrom messing around with Dollar Tree type players, the Fraziers of the world. Players like that. I don't want to see that anymore. I'm so sick of it. The Mets, I'm telling you, the Mets are going to make 2 more big moves, guys. They're going to make 1 more big move position player-wise. If that's Bryant, Baez, Correa, I don't know. There's going to be 1 more move. I don't know if it's going to be before the CBA deadline, but they're going to make 1 more position player move. And I think they're going to bring in 1 more starting pitcher that's a solid guy, or a guy like Luis Castillo or a Shane Bieber that I have been looking a little bit of info about. I might be doing a video about that. If the Mets can bring in Baez or Bryant and another solid arm, and obviously fill out the bullpen, I'm very happy with this offseason, guys. We're going into the season now, you can't say you're the favorite in your division, because you do have the Braves, who won a World Series. So they will be big-time contenders in the NL East. And just with the moves that they made already, they're already a plus 500 team. And I think that's important to look at. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I like Stroman's demeanor on the mound with his bulldog mentality. He has the bulldog mentality as Scherzer, but when you bring it up on social media and you go after the fans, you go after the media, people start to not like you, and he is not good enough to open his mouth as much as he does. He is not Scherzer. He is not Stroman. He's not Scherzer. He's not Jacob DeGrom. He is not an ace. He speaks like an ace and opens his mouth like an ace. If he would just shut up, use his attitude and his passion on the mound like he was, but bringing that also to social media is just a turnoff for me. And it's not worth over $100 million in my opinion. Yeah, we don't have lefty pitching. It's something to look at as well. That's why I think the Mets try to get Steven Matz so we can have a lefty in this rotation. I know Robbie Ray is a lefty, but like I said earlier, guys, he has a draft pick attached to him, and I don't think the Mets are gonna pay top dollar for Robbie Ray, who is the Cy Young Award winner, and lose a draft pick. I don't think the Mets want to go that route, or they probably would have went after him. Yeah, we have Peterson, but again, he was injured all of last year. I'm not really sure. You haven't heard anything about how if he's injured, if he's still injured, if he's coming back. We don't know. We have to wait until spring training or closer to spring training to see everything we have to do. So, all right. So let me just check something really quick, guys. Alrighty. All right, cool. So that's what it is right now. Johnny Franco, God, Armando Benitez. At least he pitched well during the season, but he was terrible in the playoffs. Let's see. Transistor, I know I'm pumped too, man. It's exciting. It's really, it's crazy how quickly it happened, right? Like a week ago, there was no way the Mets were going to get Scherzer. He didn't want to come here, and the Mets basically forced themselves all over Scherzer to bring him here, and you cannot complain about that. Yep, SNY just posted. Frank, thank you for following me on Instagram. Thank you. Woo-hoo. Beautiful, 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 guys. It's exactly what I wanted to see. I'm so excited right now. Like I'm lost for words. It's important to know that the only thing fans want is for their team to do everything they can to make the team better. And the Mets fans, let's be honest, have not had that experience for a long time. There was a lot of people excited when the Mets made the trade for Lindor. I was one of them. I mean, I would have gave him that much money, but again, it was a big time move at the time. It was the first big move in the Steve Cohen era. So there was so much to look forward to. And this is what we had in our minds when Cohen took over on the team. Spending all the money he can, even overspending on certain players to bring them here. That's what they had to do. That's exactly what they had to do. And it's perfect. It's lovely. But it's clear that the Mets are not done. And we just have to wait and see what it is, right? Because I don't know, guys. I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready. Sorry, guys. I'm checking something else right now. Very, very nice, guys. Very nice. But that's exactly what we were saying. Yeah, Nelson. And look, there was some rumors about the Phillies looking at Nick Castellanos, which would be a big move for them. And that's another guy we would have to worry about in the NL East. So, I don't know what Atlanta is doing. They might bring back Soler, they might bring back Rosario. But let's be honest, guys. Can Rosario and Soler be as good as they were in the playoffs for the Braves? I don't know. I think they were more of a flash in a pan type of scenario, and I don't think they're great players. They're role players, basically. They're just hot at the right time for the Braves. So, unless the Braves make drastic moves, they bring them back the same team. And I think the Mets can be better than the Braves. The Braves got hot at the right time in the second half, made all those moves, and took it right into the World Series. So I think it's important to the Mets to keep on going. Sorry, I dropped my mic. Keep on going. Get one more position player. Work on that bullpen and another solid starting pitcher, and we're good to go. I want to see what everybody's talking about on Twitter right now. Let's see. Okay, so here's Michael Mayer of Mets Mirage Online. Heard the Mets are still looking at bringing in additional starting pitching. They would want to add a reliever as well and haven't ruled out signing another position player. Key point, the Mets aren't done. Boom. There you go right there, guys. Oh, yeah. Gonna turn on SNY right now to see what they're doing. Alrighty. All right. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. But that's a good sign. The Mets are not done. So again, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, here we go. Doug Rush of where the heck is he from? I see he is from USA Today. The Mets are definitely still in the mix, and at this point have to be the favorites for Javi Baez. The Tigers might be able to make him a shortstop, but the Mets can offer Baez a chance to win a World Series right now, plus play alongside his best friend Francisco Lindor. So it's already look. Epler and Cohen are not stopping right here. They're not they're not pouring themselves with money or with all the glory right now, which they could easily do. They're going right back to work, and it seems like they're looking at more starting pitching, they're looking at bullpen, and they're looking at Javier Baez. So we'll keep looking for that. But right now, guys, as you've seen, Matt Scherzer, 3 years, $130 million, a little over $43 million a year is what the contract is. Mets got their guy. They got the ace, Jacob deGrom, and a 1A behind deGrom, which they lacked for years. Let's be honest. When Jacob deGrom finally showed that he was the best pitcher in baseball, the Mets didn't really have that big time arm behind him to piggyback him. You know, Wheeler was just coming off of Tommy John. He kind of had a really good year in 2019, which is his last year. Syndergaard was hurt. There was really nobody behind Jacob deGrom. Now we got that guy. You remember, last year, it was supposed to be Cookie Carrasco as the number 2 behind deGrom. And then he ended up injured. We still had Stroman. And then Walker was a solid move. So, like I said, as of right now, guys, the rotation is going to look like this. You're going to have deGrom, you're going to have Scherzer, you're going to have Cookie Carrasco, you have Taijuan Walker and Tyler McGill. I feel like the Mets need one more arm, and I think we're going to be good for the rotation. But it looks like the Mets are the favorites for Baez and still looking for starting pitching. So it's going to be crazy these next day and a half when it comes to the CBA. But hey, it's not a bad thing, guys. It's not a bad thing. Fans want their teams to do everything they can, and the Mets are finally doing just that. There we go, guys. So what else do you think? Let me put that question up really quick. Give me a second. All right. There we go. All right. But let me see some. Let me just do something really quick. All right. I'm going to ask you guys this question, and then we'll get started. All right. What do the Mets do next? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. In my opinion, I think the Mets' next signing is going to be a position player. And I think there's only a few guys that we talked about. I think obviously Baez seems like it's going to be the favorite, but I think Bryant's a close second. Rocky just said the Mets need a closer. We just talked about that. Honestly, God knows we need a closer. But again, I think Edwin Diaz is going to be the guy. Unfortunately, I would have kept Aaron Luke, but we can't deal with that, right? You went to the Angels. We can't do nothing about that. But I think the next move you're going to hear in probably the next 24 to 48 hours is the Mets either 100% in on Baez and ready to sign him, or the Mets look at another pitcher, and that's probably the next signing, most likely, or trade. But I wouldn't be surprised if Baez signs with the Mets in the next 48 hours. I'd be okay with that. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not going to kill the Mets for going after Baez. He showed he can play in New York. He will be with his friend and his buddy Francisco Lindor. So it's not that the worst thing in the world, right? You know, he is still an all-star type of player. You know, he's probably going to bat 250, but he can hit 30 home runs and knock in 80 RBIs and 90 RBIs. So, but, we'll see, right? Nobody expected the Mets to get Scherzer, so nothing is impossible anymore. Keep on looking at Twitter. Let's give you a little more updates on what other people are talking about. Let's see. I agree with this tweet. Scherzer, Marte, Escobar, and Kana. So far, so good for the Mets. Very impressive job by Epler, Sandy, and Cohen. Let's see. What else we got? Okay, so here's an interesting tweet by Tim Healy. This is the first 9-figure contract awarded by the Mets to a free agent outside their organization since Carlo Beltran in 2005. Look at that. That's an interesting comment, guys. I agree with that. Okay, so here's a little bit more details about the deal itself. Max Scherzer agreed on a 3-year, $130 million deal, obviously, and an opt-out after the 2023 season. So after the second year, he has an opt-out available to him. So if he pitches really well, will he opt out? I don't know if anybody's going to give him more than what he is already currently getting at the age of 30, 8, 9. So I don't think he's going to use that opt-out unless he wins the Cy Young 2 years in a row, which may be impossible. But hey, you never know. So that is an interesting thing to look at with Scherzer. He has an opt-out after the 2023 season. So after his second year, he can opt out of his contract, which I probably doubt he'll do at 39 years old. But at least there's an option for that. And maybe that was the thing that got the deal done. So once again, guys, what do the Mets do next? Transistor says Baez, O'Brien, and a reliever plus another starter. Mets do that. I'm happy. I'm good. I can relax during this off season. Get me prepared for spring training. Be ready to go to Port St. Lucie in February. As long as there's no lockout. Hopefully there's not. Going down with the 7-line army, hanging out on the berm. Ghostway, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Ghostway, baby. Yo, we're all happy, Ghostway. We're all happy. My boy Ghostway, up and live. Well, Transistor, what do I want? I want either Baez or Bryant, but I don't want to overpay for Baez. I'm not sure. There hasn't been a lot of talk about what Baez wants. Obviously he wants a lot of money, but I don't know exactly what can actually be the price range in Baez. I wouldn't give him no more than 6 years at 145, 150. If it's more than that, once again, guys, I'd rather just go and do everything I can to get Bryant for that amount of money. Ghostway just said it. Don't be surprised if the news on Baez comes out today. There's speculation that the Mets are the favorite, so we'll see. But again, I think Bryant or Baez, another solid starter that could be a number 3 or a number 4, and some bullpen help, and I'm good. I'm ready for spring training. And, whatever lockout we have, hopefully it's not too long, because, it would suck if after December 2nd, there's no baseball talk until mid-January. That would suck. No player movement, no trades, no sign-ins. It would suck. It would be boring, right? The Mets fans, we have a lot of talk about, especially on this channel, with regards to the guys that we got. We can start talking about lineups. We can talk about rotation and guys that the Mets can still possibly get. So, just because there's a lockout, there's not going to be talk on this channel. There's definitely going to be talk on this channel. Manuel, yes, I did hear. I did hear about the Mariners in on Bryant. I didn't hear about the Phillies. That's interesting because honestly, the Phillies could use Bryant, right? But that's a scenario where the Mets need to keep him away from the Phillies. No, if he wants to go to Seattle, let him go to the Northwest. I can care less. But you can't have him go to the Phillies. But that's what I think right now. Brian Abaez, another mid-level starting pitcher, and some bullpen. Obviously, that's probably not all going to get done by December 2nd. But as I just read the tweet, it seemed like the Mets are the favorite for Baez once again. They're probably going to be, they're already working. It looks like Billy Epler is not just, sitting around taking all the praise for the Scherzer signing. He's still getting to work, and that's exactly what I want to see it in a GM. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see. Let's see. And I think a big part of the Mets doing everything they can to get Scherzer, just a little thought that I had, is that I think Cohen was really pissed off at SIGN Max and his agent about what they did to get to St. Louis. And they also, and I don't think he was particularly happy with Noah Syndergaard not really coming back to the Mets and have them match that deal from the Angels. So, but good. Hey, listen, right? The important thing is Cohen wanted Scherzer. I don't know what the reason was, but he did everything he can, and that's all you can ask for, right? So let's see what else we have. It's funny. Somebody tweeted a day ago. A Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer 1-2 punch would be next level dominance. Although it seems like a fantasy, it would be really incredible. And then one guy tweeted back, now a reality. Man, a lot can change in 24 hours. Absolutely. Let's see. Let's see. All right, here we go. Okay, here's some good news regarding the CBA, guys. Obviously, this is important. MLB and the MLB Players Association are meeting in Texas to try to strike a new CBA before the current one expires. So that's another good news. If there's no deadline, if there's no strike, I'm very happy about the Yankees got Peraza. Oh, big time move for the Yankees. Everybody's going crazy right now on Twitter with the. There we go, guys. There we go, right there. Max Scherzer, baby. Oh yeah, I don't know if we can see that with the light, but there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, Max Scherzer, a New York Met, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Oh boy. But you know what? What else? I mean, this is probably the most movement the Mets have done in the offseason with big time players since what? Early 2000s when they brought in Beltran and Delgado and all those guys and Cliff Floyd and all those big time guys. That was probably the last time. Getting Cespedes was a big time move at the time, but that was the only move they made. I mean, just think of that season in 2015, right? Eric Campbell was our cleanup hitter in 2015. I mean, my God. But once again, guys, Mets, Max Scherzer, he's a Met, baby. He's a Met. So let's be happy with that, but there is more to do. So I'm going to cut this short just now, guys. I'm really, really glad everybody tuned in today with the breaking news on Max Scherzer. 3 years, $130 million. He is a Met. It's done. It's official. It's looking like the Mets are favorites to land Baez as well. So that news can be coming any day now or any minute or in the next couple of hours. We'll see. But thank you guys for tuning in on this lunchtime Monday. Mets news, great news. Marte, Escobar, Kana, and now Scherzer. What is next for the New York Mets? I really appreciate it, guys. Hit on that like button, hit on that subscribe button, guys. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, Met fans, let's go Mets. Have a good night, guys. Will I be on later tonight? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not gonna promise, but maybe. Maybe I will. Maybe, yeah, you know what? Maybe. Transistor, look out for that. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. But see you guys later, guys. Let's go, Mets. See you next time, guys. Have a good day.